today we have an exciting lineup for you. We have Ilija as our community spotlight, we have Lucia, and we have Anne-Sophie presenting their dashboards. I hope you got the exciting bit of what their dashboards are going to be like from the music that Lisa, who is at Dreamforce, but she made sure that we had the music going and she put the song together for us. Today, your hosts are going to be myself, Priyanka, and a special welcome to Rob Taylor, this is first Tableau Public TUG. Welcome, Rob. I am Preeti Lodha. I am a Director of Data Analytics and Operations in Higher Education. I am a 4-time Tableau Ambassador. My fun fact is I have a visualization on my Tableau Public portfolio with over 1 million views. So that was a crazy thing that I was able to achieve. The question I have for the rest of my hosts today and for myself is, are you all, how excited are you about Dreamforce? Have you been taking in any sessions, and are you utilizing the agentic AI? Because apparently we are in the agentic era. I got access to Tableau Next, excited, utilized it, I've seen it, but I haven't gotten an opportunity to implement it at work or in personal life. So I look forward to that. Next up is Priyanka. Hello, Priyanka. Can you tell us what exciting stuff is happening in your world?
Yes, everyone. Excited to be here. So Priyanka. I'm sorry, do you hear an echo?
We do hear an echo.
Okay, just give me 1 second. Okay, let me try again.
It's much better. Yep.
Is it better?
Yep.
Okay. Sorry about that. Hi everyone. My name is Priyanka. I had an analytics student here at PublicTUG, and I guess that's what we had. I unfortunately haven't got a chance to explore it myself. I've just seen the videos and demos, but I'm very excited to give it a try. So let's hope I get it soon.
Sounds good. Thank you, Priyanka. Next up is Rob. Hello, Rob. Welcome to your first Tableau Public TUG as a host.
Thank you very much. It's an absolute delight to join the team. Really grateful for having me along. I'm a 2-time Tableau Ambassador. Keep always say Public Ambassador. It's changed. I love, as you can see, building fun, silly stuff on my Tableau Public. Real fan of it. In work, I'm especially AI analyst, JLL, and we deal with the Rolls Royce account. So quite a good account working on. Agentic AI, no, we've not used it either. It's going to be a brand new thing for me. Hopefully you'll get a chance to soon, though.
That's so cool. Is everybody else? Yeah, I have to mute myself to let the echo go away. Thank you, Alyssa, for figuring that out. I was like, there's an echo. Okay. Next up is Eric. Hello, Eric.
Hey, Preeti. Hey, everyone. So I'm Eric. I'm a Tableau TUG leader, the Nashville and the Tableau for Dream. Actually, got to do a next work. I've tried things past with me, and it was all frustrating. This time actually worked.
Yeah, there's still an echo. I'm not sure what is happening. And the echo is not there when I am speaking, so I apologize you all if I broke this thing. Let's see if we can go through, or I might have to rejoin in a bit. Okay, so today's agenda is we are going to start with the community spotlight with Ilija, then followed by a presentation by Anne-Sophie. And Anne-Sophie is going to talk about her classic Viz of the Day, 6 Reasons to Watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And then Lucia is going to present the Halloween Best Candy Ever Viz. And as we have the chat going, if you have a favorite Halloween candy, share it with us. Mine is Twix, and I was really glad to know that it is Priyanka's favorite candy too. So yeah, let us know what your favorite Halloween candy is. And in between, we do have a swag drawing. Eric is going to do a quick swag drawing, and it's a $50 gift card. So we are excited for you to win that. Okay, first up is Ilija. Okay, hello, Ilija.
Hello.
Welcome to the Tableau Public TUG. How are you?
I'm peachy. I'm super excited to be here.
Thank you. So my first question to you is, how and when did you start using Tableau?
I started using Tableau in 2018. I was doing consulting work for a hospital, and a colleague of mine was going on holiday, and I was asked to step into this tool I had never used and take over. So that's how I had first started working with it.
Yeah. And I just realized I totally skipped your introduction, Ilija. Let me quickly do that. And that was the mistake that I was talking about, because I'm trying to juggle 2 screens. For everybody, please welcome Ilija. He has been a data analyst architect, 4-time Tableau Ambassador. He has been, 1-time Tableau Ambassador, but he has been certified 4 times in Tableau and 7 times in Salesforce. And Ilija has over 20 years of experience in analytics and is currently a senior business analytics architect at Toyota. This is Ilja's first time Tableau Ambassador, and Ilija also is a co-founder of the Analytics Enablement Leaders TUG, where he mentors teams on trustworthy dashboards. Ilija has been a relentless learner. He bridges the data and design to turn insights into business values. So coming back to the list of questions we have for you, Ilija, is what background led you to use Tableau?
I've been doing analytics for a little over 2 decades now, so I've done it in a variety of tools. And it's been soup to nuts, so back end as well as front end work. Fell in love with Tableau because of what it was capable of on the visualization side of things, and it just went from there.
Yeah. So when did you begin publishing on Tableau Public?
So my very first viz on Tableau Public was in 2019. Maybe 5 or 6 months after I had started using Tableau, and it was an entry for the Iron Viz qualifiers.
Yeah. The Iron Viz qualifiers are near too, right? We have the Iron Viz qualifiers coming starting from October 20th. So looking forward to the theme. Do you remember what the theme was back when you first started and what your experience was like?
So I was still relatively new to Tableau, and this was the one time Tableau provided data for a qualifier. It was USDA agricultural census data, so as exciting as it gets, right? And I say that with a lot of sarcasm, but it was to help showcase Tableau Prep, which had also been introduced at the time. And so it was an enormous amount of data that you had to transform, so they really wanted you to use Tableau Prep. But from that agricultural census data, we were to find a story. So.
Yeah. Exciting stuff. Yeah, sometimes that is the trick, right? From the boring data set, trying to tell a story out of it. So my next question to you is, do you have a favorite Tableau project that you have worked on?
I like my wiki hole project. That was another Iron Viz qualifier entry. It was just a lot of fun and kind of reflects my personality. Wiki holes might seem only slightly more interesting than USDA farm census data, but most people seem to have experienced it. It's where you go to Wikipedia to look one thing up, and then 3 hours later, you're looking up your 90th topic or whatever it may be, because you just keep going further and further down. And so that project was a lot of fun.
That is exciting to know. And I just learned a new word. I've never heard about the word wiki holes. I do that where I'm on Wikipedia and I'm just moving on to the next topic because it's so interesting in there. But I just learned it's called wiki hole.
Yeah, after Alice in Wonderland.
Got it. So Ilija, how has Tableau Public impacted your professional growth?
I'd say it's had a fair amount of impact from two different perspectives. So personally, the Tableau community and Tableau Public is just such a phenomenal resource, right? When it comes to looking for inspiration, trying to reverse engineer something, right? How did they do this? Or how could I go about, or maybe how can I combine two different things? So it's been great as a developer, but then also as a hiring manager, I've used it to help vet candidates. And so it's benefited me in two different ways, right? From two different angles of just getting that inspiration. That's been a double-edged sword because sometimes clients have also looked at things in Tableau Public. And it's like, oh, we want that. And it's like that Iron Viz entries are not day-to-day dashboards in a business world. And so it's been a bit of a double-edged sword there, but otherwise it's been fantastic for multiple reasons.
So talk to me a little bit about, as a hiring manager, Ilija, what are you looking in the Tableau Public profile?
So I'm not necessarily looking for creativity or anything like that, or style, because Tableau Public should be a safe space, right, where people can express their own style, let's say it. But even if it's doing Makeover Mondays or Workout Wednesdays, right, it just shows an interest and a passion and them making a commitment to do something possibly outside of work hours, maybe not, but it does show me some capability. There's a weird circumstance I'll bring up, but should they reuse something? I also look to see, did they give credit where credit was due? I bring that up because there were two instances of someone passing work off as their own with zero acknowledgement. I happen to know where it had come from.
Yep.
And that just didn't fly with me. But on the whole, it's just to see that kind of extra commitment or their interest in Tableau or learning, really.
Yeah, agreed with you, Ilija. It is critically important that you give credit. And luckily, I and one other host of Tableau Public, we got an opportunity to write a blog of why inspiration is important and plagiarism is not what you want to do. This is a learning opportunity, and that is what you want to grow. So as you were talking about the community and the broader thing, I would like to know who has helped you most on your Tableau journey.
This is where I've been limited in my response.
Yes.
But so just going through the Tableau Public side of things, because the community is broad and there's like Tableau server folks and enablement that have helped me. In Tableau Public, I would go with Sam Parsons, Jeff Schaefer, Jim Daner, Jonathan Drummy, and then for I know it's going more than I should have, but I would say Ellen Blackburn, and then a combination, because they used to do these tips together, and now I think it's only one of them, but Ture Levinson and Yvette Kovash, I think is how you say her last name. They used to do the Tableau tips that I'm sure folks have seen at Tableau conferences or recordings of it. But now I think it's just Ture hosting it.
No,
if I'm wrong,
totally
he
agree.
can correct me in chat. He's here.
Oh, there you go. And I do apologize, Ilija, for restricting, because when we asked Ilija about this question, he sent us a really long list. And I was like, we don't have enough time.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to post that on the chat for you all to review. So what was the current feature in Tableau is something that you want to learn more about?
So a feature I would want to learn more about, as opposed to like a favorite feature or something, right?
Yeah.
I would say the use of LangChain and MCP. So along the AI front, right? Especially after Mark Benioff's recent tweet, where it seems like we might be able to get some of that authoring content in AI. I do not use AI today to author visualizations. I do use it for data scraping or prep work or kind of the boring stuff, right? But I do think it'd be a good way to empower stakeholders that just want to ask a question using a published Tableau data source, right? As something where they could just ask a quick question. Maybe now it sounds like be able to create a chart. It takes care of a lot of the busy work or these one-off ad hoc requests. It's just extending self-service BI further while still leaving plenty of room for myself and everyone on this call, I imagine, to come up with proper dashboards, let's say.
Yeah. So my last question to you, Ilija, would be, what is your favorite chart?
My favorite chart? That is a difficult question. Can I cheat and say the right one for the right job?
I will take that answer, yes. But I was looking forward to you to say pie chart or something. But
I had seen a pie chart ally shirt once upon a time. I have no idea where they got it from. I am not always anti-pie chart. I've even had colleagues in the past when a client suggested a pie chart for something and they looked at me worried I was going to lunge over the table at them. I was like, no, that's actually a perfect use case for a pie chart, but in general, probably more limited. So nothing fancy, just the right chart for the right job, whatever that might be.
Sure. Thank you so much, Ilija, for doing this with us. Really, congratulations once again on being a Tableau ambassador and spending time with us. Yep. Next up is Anne-Sophie, who's going to do her presentation on her Buffy the Vampire Slayer 6 Reasons to Rewatch It. Priyanka?
Yes. Thank you, Preeti. Ilija, that was a very wonderful presentation. I can relate to your problem of listing few people because it's such a big list. I can relate to that problem. But thank you for that. And congratulations on being Tableau ambassador this year. Okay, with that, I will move on to our next speaker, Anne-Sophie. We'll quickly introduce you. So she's a strategic insights analyst at LinkedIn. Her pop culture vizzes Buffy, Hamilton, and Eurovision have earned 3 visibilities. And I believe Buffy was the Iron Viz top 10 qualifier, if I'm not wrong, correct me if I'm wrong. And also she has, I think, 4 long list information is beautiful awards. Which is amazing. She likes to pair her skills with product-grade analytics and also modern web skills like D3, which I'm also planning to explore soon, and openly shares her build process. With that, I want to pose this question to the audience while Anne continues with the presentation. Has everyone seen the Buffy themselves? I'm sad to say I haven't actually, which is surprising. I should have done that long back. So that is my plan this month. With that, Anne-Sophie, take it away.
No worries. Thank you very much, Priyanka, for this introduction. I'm going to first share some links because once I start sharing my screen, I will not be able to look at your lovely faces or share any screen, so any links. So I'm just going to do that first. And now I'm going to share my screen. Let's see. Okay, let's remove that. Please let me know if you can see a PowerPoint without any notes. All good?
Bevy page.
Sorry?
I see the Bevy link. The Bevy page itself, the browser, not the presentation.
Aha, so that is not what I'm looking for. Bear with me. Share screen, share this, share window, share entire screen. That's what it is. Okay. Okay, can you now see a PowerPoint presentation without the notes?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, let's start. So thank you very much, Tableau Public User Group, for welcoming me today. I'm going to talk to you about a viz that I did in 2021. And as Priyanka said, there were, I think that year at IronViz, there were a bit more than 300 entries, and it got into the top 10. And then I submitted it for Information is Beautiful Award, and it got longlisted. And this viz is called 6 Reasons to Rewatch Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I'm just going to walk you through quickly the 6 reasons so that we have an idea of what I'm talking about. But in this viz, I've listed reviews and general public and expect praises, a network chart showing the links with other staples of pop culture, an interactive section to show some witty sentences of the show, a bar chart of the dialogue spoken by the different genders to prove that the show was feminist, a trend over time of ratings, and finally, this chart is an arc diagram showing payments and foreshadows across the 7 seasons of the show, just to showcase the quality of the screenwriting. And today, I'm going to talk you a bit about like how I approached this viz and how I executed it 4 years ago. That being said, there are certain things that I'm not going to cover, and I just want to lower your expectations because, as I said, that was 4 years ago, and I haven't practiced Tableau a lot over the past 2 years. So bear with me. There are certainly like certain techniques that have changed also like across the time. So for instance, I've mentioned that the viz has a network chart. I think I had to follow 3 different tutorials to get there. Today, I would probably just do it with a template of La Data Viz. There was also an arc diagram, but actually it was very easy to follow Ken Flerlege tutorial. And then I'm going to be honest, I'm really, really bad at explaining the difference between sets and parameters, actions, and stuff like that. So I always refer to Andy Kribels because like I know how it works, but to me, it still looks like witchcraft. But all of those, I have actually explained them in a blog post because at that time, I just thought, you know what, like Anne-Sophie, be a friend to your future self, just document everything and how you did it so that like you will know. And if somebody asks you the technical questions, you can just refer to that blog post. Another thing that I'm not going to cover is the ethics and how I approached this passion project because there were some questions about like, should I publish? How should I publish? Like, how should I tackle some sensitive issues around this project? But I've done an outlier talk. So at the database conference outlier in 23, I did a talk of 5 minutes about this topic. So if you have any questions, we can approach them at the end of my presentation. But what I mean is, I'd rather not. I'd rather cover something new today, or you know, if this is relevant, again, I can go back to it. But for today, what I was thinking of talking to you is about storytelling and how I approached this very strategically, a bit of user experience, and then because I've been asked to be a bit technical, and I promised myself that I would do something a bit technical. I'm going to talk to you a bit about embedding a viz in a website because I came up with a technique which I think could be cool if you want to go down that route. But the first one is we're going to talk about like being strategic. And I know that like I'm going to open, like in French you say, kick doors that are already open, but by saying this, but like this should always start with a question. And there's two ways. Like either you have a data set and then you explore it with curiosity and you come up with a question, a problem, something interesting you want to explore, or you start with a question. But no matter what, it needs to answer something. And the question that I wanted to answer is this one. A lot of people think that Buffy is an old show, like it's from the 90s, it's a show for teenagers, it's a show for girls. So the question is, can I fight a lot of prejudice and create a compelling case for this show, for everyone? And with that in mind, this is like, from the moment I had my strategy, my question, I was able to identify the audience and the data points that I needed. But I want to challenge one thing. It's just like, I hear a lot like, oh, when you do a viz, you need to identify your audience. And I think it's true, but I want to challenge it by saying it's not okay to keep your audience vague. It's actually better to have more than one audience, as long as you know exactly like why they are your audiences. So I'm going to explain. For my viz about Buffy, the main audience, like the most obvious one, would be the general public, because it's people who watch TV, like it's people who watch TV and we might be interested in TV show recommendations. Okay. The second one is because I published my deadline that I self-imposed myself was Iron Viz. Well, my audience is the Iron Viz judges. So I made sure that I read the rules of the contest, that I took into account the rating system. And obviously, I made sure that Tableau shined in the viz. So that's why I have a network chart and an arc diagram. I just wanted to show off a bit Tableau. But the real audience, and this is the one that I kept in mind throughout my whole project, are the Buffy fans. Now, Buffy fans don't need me to explain to them why they need to rewatch the show. But for me, that was my message to them. My gift to them was a data-packed narrative to spread the love about this show, because I know they are the ones that are going to share it with the general public, not the other way around. And the reason why I'm mentioning all of this is because once you have a very clear strategy on your audience, your main audience, your core audience, your secondary audience, or whatever, then you know who you need to ask feedback to. So for instance, like for Iron Viz, I guess this still exists, but like if they still exist, and I cannot tell you how useful it was and generous this community was in giving me time and feedback. They were like office hours, and every year I did Iron Viz, I participated, and every year I learned things from those people. So really, really recommend this. Second one is, I asked obviously Buffy fans, like their opinions, so I shared it with some friends, but I also shared it with the general public, like so people who are really not into data viz and really not into Buffy, because usually those people are the ones that like will give you like the most actually, I want to say basic feedback, but not basic like in terms of a negative trait, but more really like, you know, oh, it's hard to read, or the colors don't make sense, etc. So I think like having feedback from across that spectrum really helped me create the best viz possible. And then the second point I wanted to say is, because I was very clear on my angle and my audiences, I selected all the data points accordingly. And I want to also show that sometimes like there are data points that are readily available, but it's not the data points that you need, and vice versa. So for instance, like today, I didn't do it with ChatGPT or anything, but today it would be very easy to ask ChatGPT to help you create a Python script to scrape IMDb or other websites for some data. At that point, I did the scraping a bit manually, and I'm not going to go into details because, again, like the techniques have changed so much. But like it's very easy to get all those data points on IMDb. But actually, some of them for my story, for that narrative, they didn't matter. And then there were some data points which are very hard because they were qualitative. They needed a lot of manual reworking, but these were the data points that fitted the story that I had. And yeah, and then there's a data point that does not exist anymore, unfortunately, that was asked by IMDb, which I think made a huge difference also in my viz. So if I had to redo the same viz for another series tomorrow, I'd be probably struggling a little bit. But I would say like that hard work, especially the qualitative of manually selecting or manually tagging the data, made a huge difference in terms of quality of the project. Second, oh yeah, I want to show you one example, like the chart, which I think is probably the ugliest in my viz, and but it took me such a long time. I wanted to prove that the show was feminist, and my first idea was to count the number of episodes that passed the Bechdel-Wallace test. So I don't know if you heard about the Bechdel test, but it's a measure of the representation of women in film and other fictions. And the test asks you need to have at least 2 women. They need to have a conversation about something else than the men. And some versions say that the women need to be to have been named. But the problem is that all the episodes of Buffy, by essence, pass the test. So it's not really an exciting data point. So instead, I found a data set of all the episode dialogue text across 7 seasons on GitHub. And then I manually tagged the gender of every single character speaking across 7 seasons. And then it gave me that. And I cannot say enough how underwhelming the chart is compared to the amount of time it took me to do it. But I still think it's much better data point than the initial idea that I had. So I think it was worth it. Now, would I do that for every single project? Maybe not, but when you're a fan, you're a fan. Now, moving on to my second point, you need to be where your user is. And by that, I want to talk about user experience, but in a really, really broad terms. And what I want to say basically is that you need to take account of your reader and understand not only symbolically, but also physically, where they are at. So symbolically, or actually in terms of representation, one thing that I thought was interesting is one probably of the main reasons why people don't want to watch Buffy is they don't feel they are in the right demographic. Oh, I'm a man, I wouldn't be interested. I'm too young, I wouldn't be interested in the show from the 90s. I'm too old, I wouldn't be interested in the young adult fiction. So the Venn diagram of people who this series is for is just basically 3 people in the planet Earth. I'm just no, I don't believe that. So back in the days, IMDb had ratings by demographics. And they were not perfect by any point. You didn't have loads of of ratings under the age of 18, and you only have you had a very binary system. So I'm not saying it's representative, but I still used it to create the first question was, should you watch Buffy? And depending on your demographic, it would just basically tell you, yeah, you should totally watch Buffy because this is the rating against your demographic. I think there's only one demographic where it's just yeah, maybe you should just watch Buffy with a bit more caution, but usually, yeah, give Buffy a try. But usually you should just watch Buffy. That was my very compelling case for you guys. So I don't know what you do in this evening, but that's proven by data. My second point is a bit less about representation, but really more physically where your readers are. Because 2/3 of my audience is the general public and the Buffy fans might be reading this on mobile. I've always put a lot of time to make sure that there's a mobile version for all my vizzes. Now, I know that the Iron Viz judges, at least back in the day, now I don't know if the criteria are different, but we really don't care about that. I just want to point out, I'm very aware that if Iron Viz is your goal, I don't know that this is important. But to me, that was really important because, again, my point is the general public first and foremost. What does that mean? So I have this version of the Viz, which is the text is a bit bigger, all the background is done in Figma, so the text is a bit bigger. The charts are not interactive. I'm going to be honest, not all of them look as nice. Some of the charts are exactly the same, but some of the charts are not clickable, etc. But it's still there. And another thing which is interesting is that I've put obviously a little caveat at the beginning of the Viz and the little caveats on the charts which are no longer interactive to say, hey, by the way, if you like this, the desktop version is better. So come back later, save that bookmark and come back later. And maybe I can jump. You know what? No, for now, I'm just because I'm seeing time that is running. So very quickly, the way that I do this is I always go in the dashboard section, I click on phone, and I always use a custom version for the Viz that I'm doing. So I always have basically 2 versions of the Viz. That doesn't mean I spend twice as much time. Usually, the process of making a Viz mobile friendly, it really depends. It can be sometimes 3 to 5 hours if the project is really, really intense and requires a lot of editing. Some things that I would say is some charts, they work well on both mobile and desktop, but some charts sometimes they need to be edited, like duplicated. So here, for instance, there's a section of my viz where I have just a quote, like a text, and the original version, like the version on desktop, is too small when you try to read it on mobile. So I had to have both of them. Again, sometimes it can be very involved to have like two versions of, especially if you have loads and loads of charts. So I would say, like, take it with a pinch of salt. There's also other techniques. You can also remove some of the charts, simplify your text, etc. But I think it's useful to have both versions. And then also the one thing is I had the Figma background of my viz. I'm team floating, like I'm very, very lazy. So for me, floating makes it's a lot less technique for me. I'm so sorry for people who are the other team. It's just, I'm really not the most technical on Tableau. So, I have another Figma, what do you call that, background template, which is not the same as the desktop version. So again, I understand that a lot of people find it extremely harrowing and to have to do two vizzes. It's just I'm very stubborn. This is something that I think is really important to me, at least. But there's a reason why this is important to me. It's because every viz is embedded on my website. So obviously, all my vizzes are Tableau Public, classically. But the one thing is, when you go on my website, where I host some projects which are Tableau Public, but I also host some projects that I've done with front-end web development, but also even static infographic. I think I've done one infographic, for instance, with PowerPoint. All those vizzes are hosted, but if you click on the viz for Buffy, for instance, it doesn't redirect to the Tableau Public page. It's completely embedded. And it's and also, when you narrow down the window, you see the mobile version of the viz. So it's mobile responsive. It's completely reactive. And I want to explain how I did that because, and again, it's very possible. Like I know that I'm standing on the shoulders of giants and that some techniques already existed and probably exist still, but I want to explain a bit more about this. But just before I do that, just so you know, personally, I always leave like the banner that says that this comes from Tableau Public. I know that there must be some techniques to just remove that footer, but for me, I'm just like, I'm fine with that. I think it's fine for me too, because I have projects that are both on Tableau and outside of Tableau. And I think it's, it doesn't bother me, but you could probably also remove that footer. Now, if you go on your Tableau Public and you click right on the viz, you'll see that there's an embed code, and the idea would just be that you just copy paste this code on your website. So if you do a website with classic HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, if you just want to embed, you just take the text that corresponds to this div, so basically this container, and you just put it on your website. But that's not what I did, because as I showed you, I wanted both versions of my viz to be on Tableau. I wanted the mobile and the desktop version, and I wanted it to be reactive. And this is where I started digging. And I'm going to be honest, but I have not documented this. So I have retraced my step. And I think this is how I did that. I think that the person that inspired me, and if not, like what I mean is I want to give credit to the Tableau community. And I think this is the person that inspired me, but it might be also another solution. But I have high doubt that it would be a different person because I recognize the code, is Diego Martinez. Because somebody on the Tableau Public forum asked the question, hey, how do I embed my viz, but both mobile and desktop version? And he gave this answer with this snippet of code. So I'm so grateful to all the people on the Tableau Public forum and also all the people of the community, because you have no idea. I would have never managed to figure it out by myself. And basically what this solution does is there's a div, so basically a container for the viz in desktop version. And there's a viz for the mobile version. And then what it does is there's a JavaScript that says, hey, that looks at the width of the screen of the person who is reading. I say, oh, the person has a screen which the width is very small. That must be a desktop, mobile. So I'm going to show the mobile version of the website. Otherwise, I'm showing the desktop version. I promise that I will not explain too much my code because I understand this is a Tableau and maybe like not everybody is interested in like hardcore JavaScript, etc. But I'm going to show you how I adapted this solution on my website. So on my website, which is built with VelKit as a framework on top of classic HTML and CSS and JavaScript, basically I have like a page of all my Tableau project, but it's a page which is dynamic. And basically, anytime somebody clicks on one of my Tableau project, it's the same page, but it will highlight a different project depending on the link that they click. I know, I make no sense. It's okay, don't worry. I will not bother you too much with code, but I want to show you what it looks like in case somebody is interested in replicating this. The long story short is this. You click on a link, and it will get the data of this viz. So if you click on the link for the Buffy viz, it will get all the data related to the Buffy viz. So it's like, think about an Excel spreadsheet with a column, and in the column you have Buffy viz, and then, okay, I get the data of the other columns. So for instance, for the head of my viz, so the head is the thing that is not on the website, but it's in the description of the website, so that helps with SEO. So here it says, okay, I have the Buffy viz, now give me the Buffy viz title and the Buffy viz description. And then on the body of the viz, get me the color of the background. So I've decided that the background of the Buffy viz is black. Give me the URL, so it's the URL of the Tableau Public. And then the thing is, in order to say, hey, give me the mobile version or the desktop version, I'm looking at the width. And again, the width is the width of the screen of the person that is looking at your website. So again, if the width is more than 800 pixels, I'm going to assume that this person can look at the desktop version. If the width is under than 800 pixels, show them the mobile version. So I'm binding the width to what people are seeing. Just so that you have a sense of what it looks like in the backend, when I say that there's a file called data, it's literally a CSV. And in the CSV, I have one row per viz that I might want to embed on my website. And for the columns are the title, the blurb being the blurb being like the bottom of the URL, so Buffy viz, Eurovision viz, Cat viz, etc. The description is for, as I said, it's just for SEO purposes. The URL of the Tableau Public viz, and then I have columns that show the dimensions of the viz, because each of my viz have a different dimension, and the dimensions are not the same for the mobile version and for the desktop version. So I have the height and the width, and then the color is the color that I want to have for the background of the viz. And then there's just one tiny detail that I could have programmed, but I was too lazy to do that. It's just the height. I need to add 27 pixels because of that footer bar that I want to keep. And I'm happy to show this bar. So because of that, I need like to add 27 pixels to the height. And what that means is that this works across all my vizes, not just the Buffy one, but all the others. So for instance, when I go on so I've worked on the Ted Lasso viz with Sarah Palette. And this viz also, like the background is blue. For my Eurovision viz, the background is dark purple. And for my cat viz, actually the background is two colors, is half white, half black, because and for that I use the gradient in CSS. But the long story short is that it's completely embedded. It doesn't necessarily look like a Tableau Public viz, but it does give credit to Tableau Public. So if this is a technique that you are interested in, you can check my code on my website. I've done a lot of talking. Maybe you guys have some questions. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And yeah, let me know if you... Thank you very much for your attention. And let me know if there's some points that I can clarify for you.
Thank you, Anne-Sophie. That was a wonderful presentation. I particularly loved the point when you said that you don't have one audience.
Oh, it's that.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, is this better? Is my audio clear?
Yes, I can hear.
Okay. I was just going to say that I particularly loved the point when you said that you don't have one audience, you have multiple audience. You know how to cater it to multiple audience, which is such a good point, because some of these vizzes that we have on Tableau Public, they cannot just be one audience because it's a wider section. We have different people. Some may watch this movie, some may not have watched this movie, but there could be people who will just like vampire genre in general, maybe. So I like how you separated that out. That was a very interesting point. Also, the point that you said how you wish you had documented your process. I struggle with that too. I have so many vizzes that I was thinking maybe I should try to blog about it, but I don't remember how I did that and especially why I did that. So I can relate to your point for sure. So I don't think I see any questions. Let me see. We were having a discussion about team float and team tile, and I know you are team float. I think I'm more hybrid. I can relate to Rob. I'm starting to see floating as a good side as well. So I think I'm more hybrid at this point. I think as an end question, I want to just check with you. So you have experience with going with Iron Viz, and you also had top 10, which is such a big deal. Do you have any tips for people who would be trying out Iron Viz this year? Like any starting tips? You feel like you could?
Yeah, I'd say ask for feedback early. Don't ask for feedback when the viz is finished, because I feel like personally, okay, and no one, how can I explain that? I think people don't take as constructively feedback when they spend too much time on their viz, because it's just like, I'm done with my viz. All I want to hear is that it's good. And, and just change like little things. But if you go early, you can just go in a completely tangent, because the feedback is constructive, but it's given at a time where you have not completely poured your soul into it. So that would be my if you have like office hours, etc., go early, don't go at the end. And then have fun. Just, don't aim for something, just aim to have fun. Like all the projects after that, like I've never been like in the top 10 ever again, but like I am so proud of every single one of those projects. And, in some of them were even in the information is beautiful award, like long list. So it's fine. Like, but I've poured my soul in each of them. So just have fun. And maybe don't spend like 60 hours like I did, maybe, but like, don't do the same mistakes I did.
No, that is a wonderful tip. And yes, I also had a visit where I went and got like basically watched a lot of movies and tracked the dialogues. I can relate to your feelings, how it was. But thank you for that. Oh, I see one question from Rob. So Rob wants to know if you're entering Iron Viz this year.
Probably not. Loads happening personally, so probably not. But I'll be watching.
Great. Okay, great. Thank you, Anne-Sophie. That was I'm sure everyone enjoyed the presentation, especially those really fun tricks that you showed us. With that, I would hand over to Eric for the swag.
All right, let's do some swag drawings. Let me share my screen here. We've got everybody loaded and ready to go. So we'll do the spin the wheel. Really simple. See who wins a $50 gift certificate to the Tableau store. Oh, sorry, Jeremy, so close. It's Kristen Strilling. So if you will email tableau.public.tug@gmail.com, I will get you set up with the gift certificate. And I'll look for you here in the chat and do a DM for you real quick. All right. So that's it for me. Off next to Rob and drawing a blank, Lucia.
Oh, thanks, Eric.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so I'm very honored to introduce Lucia. She is a data visualization specialist and consultant from Buenos Aires. She's got 3 Viz of the Days, which are fantastic, and she was a Tableau featured author in 2021. I was just looking at a public profile saying, I see you're on 99 Vizzes, so I'm excited to see what Viz 100 will be, so maybe an Iron Viz entry. But yeah, she's got over 15 years of experience across data analysis, business intelligence and marketing research, blending marketing and neuroscience design. Blending marketing and neuroscience to design accessible, user-centered dashboards in Tableau, Power BI, and SQL. She's very active in, I always struggle with this, community datos, Workout Wednesday, and she's got a YouTube channel. And I'm really looking forward to talking through this Viz. I have particularly sweet tooth myself. I really enjoy looking at it and exploring it. So I will hand over to you, Lucia, and you can talk through your Viz for us.
Great. Hi, everyone. Thank you, Rob, for the introduction. Now I'm trying to share my screen. Give me a second, please. There it is. Well, great. So you had the formal introduction. Now I'm going to put some fun facts to it. I'm from Argentina, but my passions are traveling, going to the theater, and data. And when I say traveling, I do travel a lot. I mean, for instance, the last 3 years, I was abroad 24 months during the 3 years. So I spend a lot of time traveling. I tend to stay like a month or so in each city to get to really know it. I also love the theater. My goal is to go once a week, but if I can go 3 times a week, I mean the whole weekend, it's better. And the data, as soon as I get a new database to work with it, that's the best moment I can have and start crossing everything and get what insights and so on. And I do combine all these passions since I have a Tableau Public about the places I have visited. It's like a scratch map where every new city or country, I get to see it appear on the map, and I love it. And I also have all the theaters in Buenos Aires that I have gone to. There are more than 200 small theaters, so there are a lot I haven't gone yet, especially because I have my favorite ones that I trust the play is going to be amazing. But I try to get to know new places as well. Well, I travel with my husband. We are both working remotely, so we are kind of digital nomads. And we try, well, he likes more doing trekking than I, but I try to do my best. And I also wanted to see which countries had we have walked the most, or the higher the mountains. And so I prepare a dashboard as well with all our trails. So I do keep a lot of dashboards about everything around me. I have about my steps, about I don't know, the price of public transport in each city of the world where I stay long enough to have a monthly pass. So there are a lot of that. And also, since I can stay long enough, I try to participate in Tableau meetings wherever I can. I've been to London Tableau User Group this year, and 2 years ago. It was amazing. It was surreal to get to know in person some people that I only have met on LinkedIn, and was an amazing experience. And last year, I've been to Sydney Tableau User Group as well. It was great. Of course, since I'm from Latin America, I participate in Comunidades. But well, enough about me. Let's talk about the dashboard I have prepared. And how did I came to this idea of making a dashboard about candies? Well, maybe analytics, they normally have challenges. I try to participate whenever I can, and this in particular grabbed my attention immediately. So what they offer is the database. So that part was really easy. It was provided. It was clean. It was perfect. I mean, I checked just in case, but all the data was complete. The format was perfect. No problem whatsoever there. So they provided one page with 85 different candies, 13 fields about if the candy had chocolate, almonds, it was hard or not. I mean, all the characteristics of the candy, as well as how the price ranked and how many people liked it. It was a survey of about 270,000 people answer which was their favorite candy. So probably it's not as representative as it could be, but it is a nice number to start and analyzing. So the idea was to select the 3 candies that will make you the most popular house on the neighborhood. So let's see. What I took from that was it has to be different candies, probably different specifications, so everyone will have something they like. Well, I consider the price when I prepare it because, of course, I thought someone would be paying for them. But for this presentation, since it's Halloween, I will pretend I am the Witcher. No, sorry, sorry. Yeah, the witch, sorry. The witch from Hansel and Gretel, who wants to lure people in the house with candies. So I'm going to detect from this dashboard how I'm going to build my bricks from the house because I have been asleep for the last 100 years. So let's see. Well, we have the end is already here. We already know Reese, Twix, and Starbucks are the selected one. A bit of I don't know. I'm sorry, I missed the word, but when we already know the end. But well, let's go and see how we have sorry, let's go back. Let's see how I reached this conclusion. A spoiler. That was the word that was tormenting me. This is a spoiler, but we'll get to it, I promise. So I normally prefer to use simple graphs. You will see these scatter plots, bar charts, line graphs. All the simpler ones are the ones that everyone can understand. So normally that's why I will choose. So the first idea was to start working with the data in a scatter plot with the win percentage that I was telling you, these people who answered the questionnaire online, which candidate they prefer, and the price percentage. So I first drew a line at 67% of likability. Why? I would say just a number, but it means that 2/3 of the people prefer these ones. So we have a base majority, a considerable number to start working on. And from there, I am taking a zoom in. So these are the only ones that are above 67%. Well, on the far right, we have Reese Peanut Butter Cup. Being a witch with unlimited magic resources, I can buy Reese peanut butter cup all I want. But considering that many of the people in the neighborhood may not have this ability, they can switch to Reese miniatures, which cost practically half. So that's our first selection, the Reese peanut butter cup in its normal version or a miniature. Then, which will be the second one? Well, here it seems they are together, I don't know, but in a bar chart we can see it more clearly. Yeah, Twix is number 3, really close. You will consider it directly, but just in case, let's take a moment to analyze if it's worth it. So KitKat is quite behind, not far. A lot of people like it, but let's see the other thing that we wanted, that everyone should have something for them, something different. So what does Reese Peanut Butter Cup offer? They offer chocolate and it is peanut. It has, it's peanutty. It has peanuts on it. So I want either Twix or KitKat, the one that has more their characteristics as far from that as possible. So Twix has caramel, chocolate also, and fruits rice, so it's crunchy and comes in a bar. Let's see, KitKat, the same but no caramel. So yeah, I'm going with Twix. But as considering again the price, Twix is far on the top. It's the 91% percentile. So if people cannot afford it, they can go with KitKat. It costs half. Sorry. Then, well, we have one final option that we need to choose. And for that, I don't want to miss the kids that are not allowed to eat chocolate or nuts, have some allergies. I want to lure all the kids. So let's put all these options aside. Let's filter. And we don't have many options left with 67% or more likability. So I will go directly with Starburst since it's quite different. Let's see, it's fruity and it is fruity. They are okay. They are candy. They are fruity. Well, one last thing. Maybe I'm a witch and I'm going to eat them all, but still they should be healthy. So let's see the sugar level of these candies. Well, while Skittles has 94%, or well, Nerds have 85%, Starburst has only 15% sugar. So consider it quite a healthy candy if that's possible to say. And so there we have our three options: Reese, Twix, and Starburst. For limited budgets, Reese miniatures and Kit Kat instead of Twix. Now, let's see more about the dashboards and some limitations that I have. Of course, the font in Tableau, I will praise for the moment that we can choose any font in Tableau Public and see it exactly as it was. But by now, we only have to depend on images. So I prepared the image on Canva and then just pasted all the images here. Any title that I wanted to draw some attention is an image. I also put this candy, I took the liberty of switching them to orange. So it would be all just black and orange, monochromatic, and really stand out the orange as the main insight. And also, I don't know if you can see it, but there are some spider webs for this Halloween edition. And let me see. Well, going back to the data, it was really simple, easy to work with, but it did have a dictionary, and I work with it, read it, make sure that everything was as I could understand it. And then let's see. I also work with tooltips. I think they are great to show information, but just in case someone it's not trying to get to the tooltip, because I normally put just hover through the image to see what's hidden, something like that. Maybe someone is just scrolling, but so I also have the information on the page. What else? Well, I think that maybe what's really important about this graph is that it's useful information if you want to be the top neighbor around it, or you're a foreigner like me. Here we do not have Halloween. I mean, some of the kids nowadays are having Halloween at school or in the private neighborhood, or as a teenager, yeah, you would go to a party, a custom party, but it's not really Halloween for us. So if I were to be living in North America and I was expected to give candy, this would be really good information. So it's a real life decision to know which candy to provide. Well, I prepared this dashboard 1 year ago, so I was starting to work with ChatGPT, seeing if I could trust it or not, or if it will take our jobs or not. So I wanted to ask the same question: which three candies would you choose? Consider that they have to be completely different, and present the highest win percent possible. And so we did, it checked the win percent and evaluated the combinations and selected the same three as me. So this is interesting. For once, it's great. ChatGPT agrees with me, but on the other side, okay, ChatGPT can replace me directly. But well, it's better to think that we can do the same analysis faster, maybe because in this case I had a really small database, but with a higher or more complex database, it could help our job be faster, and we can focus more on other things that are not being able to be replaced by any AI. Well, I hope you like it. And if you have any questions, I'm going to remove the hat, you know.
That was really great. Thank you very much. I particularly like how you, and a lot of you other dashers as well, how you purposely use your color. Yeah, highlighting the different words and things to draw all the charts together and whatnot. I'm just wondering if you've got any tips for anyone of how you sort of pick your colors and how you go about choosing what to use and what not to use.
Okay, normally it depends if I have a theme, like in this case, Halloween. Halloween for me is orange. So I was like dark because, black, I mean, because it is something of terror or something like that. So black and orange. But in other cases, normally I tend to use bluish colors. I always try to avoid the traffic lights for so everyone can understand the different colors. And if I have to choose which data to color or not, I prefer to start with gray, everything in gray, and then select specific data points to change the color to stand up, so the main insight may stand up.
Yeah, it's a great tip. Obviously, you want whatever you want to be the focus, you want that to be popping off the screen, don't you? So great. And the most important question is, did you try all the suites to verify that they were the best ones afterwards?
Well, I have a really sweet tooth, so it's hard because I have also a high blood sugar level, but I do enjoy eating most of these candies I have tried, of course, not all of them, and not the candies. Why waste my blood sugar on hard candy if I can get into chocolate?
So we've got a question from Preeti. She says, do you wireframe your vizzes or just build it on the fly?
I have two options. Sometimes I start just crossing the data, making different graphs and see which graphs tells a story. And some other times, maybe I already know what to expect or what to extract. And I do design, I do just a sketch, probably on paper, and then start preparing my final version on Tableau.
Oh, brilliant. That was really interesting. Thank you very much for sharing. I don't think there's any more questions in the chat, so we'll hand back to Preeti. Thank you very much, Lucia.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Lucia. All this conversation about candy got me craving some sweets. I don't know about you, but I sneaked in and got a piece of candy while you were presenting. So that was really exciting. Quickly, before I let you all go, I just want to share being mindful of the Iron Viz qualifiers that are coming. Our November TUG will not be happening. We will be looking forward for you all joining us in the December TUG. We have a great lineup with Tristan, Ruben, and John doing our presentations. I think this will be a really exciting part, and we always love to you all come join us and celebrate the holidays with us. Do RSVP to the TUG if you are interested in joining us then. The Viz catalog designs, those have been popping, and I'm like, this is so much helpful. Where was this when I started Tableau Public and I had to go find each and every Viz? Kevin had a catalog, but this has been much more helpful. That is all I have. Thank you to all the presenters and to the host today, and thank you for everyone who joined us. It was really exciting to host this. And happy holidays if I don't get to tell you this before the Thanksgiving season and the Christmas season that we get.
Yeah. Looking forward to it.
Okay. I'm going to stop recording and let you all